We lost
valuable working days.
an entire season,
Yeah.
work season. We lost a political season, and quite honestly, every time you talk about my government, Shopian is not far away from the questions that get asked. So, on my first term in office, one of the things I'm going to have to constantly be talking about is Shopian. So, can't be helped.
But I mean, in the sense that it was so obviously manipulated, it becomes as time goes, it becomes obvious to people within the state and outside. Is it now? I mean, are you setting in a mechanism which is almost sort of administratively preventive?
I don't think you can. The only thing you can do is try to ensure that the truth comes out sooner rather than later, and try and because every time we think that okay, fine, people will now think twice before letting their emotions get the better of them. It doesn't happen. I mean, you see this incident that happened last year in Mysuma area of Srinagar. A boy went missing, and they immediately blamed the police. They came out, set vehicles on fire, stole shops, buildings, etc., etc. Turns out that he got killed by his friend over a girl that he had met over the internet. How do you preempt something like that? You can't. I think it's the only thing you can hope is that better sense will prevail on the people. But where there is a political establishment whose only objective is to try and create trouble for the government or the party in power, you will have to face situations like this.
And you have the technology available.
And you have the technology available to do it.
There was a period when you mentioned specifically, I mean, you personally you were mentioning, and politically there's a talk about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Where do you see that now? I mean, what is your status on that?
I think it's important that the government of India have an objective look at the Armed Forces Special Powers Act and the need to impose it across the state. Possibly the time has come to start reviewing its imposition in some of the more peaceful parts of the state. One, two, for the parts of the state where it continues to need to be, the need continues for its imposition, to look at the more draconian aspects of it and see if the possibility of revoking some of those or changing some of them is possible. Not just with the J&K focus. I mean, you have a large part of the Northeast that also wants similar changes. So I don't see why there should be any resistance on this. Obviously, one can understand that at the defense establishment level, they would rather not tweak with it. But I think there are other concerns that also need to be factored in.
When you factor in other concerns in terms of improving certain areas, like you said, certain areas have improved. Can you see yourself proposing the replacement of central forces with state forces? I mean, is the efficacy of state forces?
It's happening, but I mean, you're looking at a situation where you don't need too many central forces, because there's no way a state force can replace the quantum of central forces that are in place.
And the training and
the training. I mean, the training I can still give them. I mean, if you see like the handling of the attack in Lal Chowk some months ago, which was almost completely handled by the J&K police initially. I think in training even in the encounters with the room opening parties and stuff, our police is second to none. But my problem is the quantum of security forces. I simply don't have those numbers. Nor can I create them, because I mean, I'm working on the assumption that if not today, tomorrow J&K will be a peaceful state. What will I do with this massive police establishment? At least for the central forces, if you're not here today, you'll be somewhere else tomorrow. That case doesn't exist for J&K police.
You don't be learning with a
I don't be working with battalion loads of police people.
Manpower.
As it is, I mean, it's already a huge sort of expenditure for me. The police training establishments, all the other facilities that go with it. It's not easy.
In terms of the development, I mean, when you talk politics, when you talk to a political person, you have to talk development. And I want to ask you, I mean, in terms of development, which have been your sort of thrust areas? Where do you see you doing something different?
I mean,
is it possible to do something different?
I think it is possible to do the same things differently, and in that you will do better, because everybody wants to add to the basic essentials, and we've identified the 5 crucial ones, which are Bijli, Sadak, Pani, Sehat and Talim. These are the 5 crucial, I think, components that if you improve, there will be a visible improvement in the quality of life, and that's what we are trying to do. We've paid a lot of attention towards the road network, particularly in the lesser connected areas, Kupwara district, erstwhile Doda district. We are focusing on improving the health infrastructure, particularly in rural areas, increasing the number of doctors, giving them a greater allowance for practicing in difficult areas, similar things in the education sector. On the planning side, we've now, for the first time, brought in external monitors for some of the development work that's going on. So we're trying to build in more accountability into the system. We're trying to add more capacity to our generation. I have 17,000 megawatts of potential power in my rivers. Today I exploit about 2,500 megawatts. So obviously there's scope. What stops me is an absence of resources. So we're trying to balance that with the potential that exists.
Power brings me to my last question, which is water. And water flowing through J&K is now one of the biggest issues within Pakistan. And I was in Pakistan last week and I heard it ad nauseum. And blaming, Kishan Ganga and Bagligar and all the other nefarious designs that seem to be this side of the Ratcliffe line. What is your take on the water?
Well, I think Pakistan has the least to complain about. If anybody should complain, it's the people of Jammu and Kashmir, because we have been robbed of a resource that is ours. The Indus Water Treaty was the most unfair treaty that could have been entered into for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. The rivers flowing through Punjab you kept with India. The rivers flowing through Jammu and Kashmir you gave to Pakistan. As a result of which we can't hold water on any of our rivers for power generation. Now, how is that fair? We are still screaming for compensation on that account. Now, the Indus Water Treaty has a mechanism of dispute resolution. It neither takes the political side of India nor of Pakistan. Baglihar was a test case. Pakistan had problems with Baglihar. It went to the Indus Water Commission. The dispute settlement mechanism sorted it out, and today that power project is pumping out electricity. God forbid they feel the need to take Kishan Ganga to the same thing. That's what will happen. But it just shows how unfortunate and how mistreated Jammu and Kashmir has been, that our own rivers we are crying for. And look at the flip side of it, because we have no such agreement with China. They'll build a dam on the Brahmaputra in Tibet, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.